Hey, what is up, everybody? It is I, your coach, Melanie Black, and I am here to talk about the difference between an exercise or a diet challenge and an exercise or a diet program. Knowing the difference can save you injury and a lot of heartbreak. So let's dive right in. So if you have been on the internet for more than a minute, surely you have seen a challenge go up. The push-up challenge, the squat challenge, the lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks challenge. There are tons of diet and exercise challenges out there. The all cabbage diet challenge. There are bunches and bunches, and some of them have a really good place in your overall workout program, and some of them you should avoid. But the most important thing is to know the difference. So we're going to get into that right off the top, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. So let me share my screen with you. Here we go. What is the difference between an exercise challenge and an exercise program, or a diet challenge and program? So first off, challenges, they're going to be short term. They're going to be for glory, for sport, to kickstart a habit, for the proof that you can do it, and they are not sustainable. So a challenge is something that you're going to do short term. Short term. This is super important. So what happens if you try to do a challenge long term, or you do a number of challenges back to back? Number one, you're going to end up with likely injuries, maybe eating disorders. It's bad for your body to do back-to-back challenges. If the challenge is not challenging, then you're not really getting traction towards your goals either. A challenge, when it's in the correct context, should in fact be challenging. In other words, maybe just a little bit more out of reach than you think is possible. It should be short term, and it should be intense enough that you can dedicate your focus to it and perhaps kickstart a habit, or just prove to yourself that you can do it. So a challenge can be something like a competition, like running a race, or doing a weightlifting competition, or a bodybuilding competition. Bodybuilding competition is a really good example right off the top of my head, because those bodybuilders, they don't look shredded like that all year round. They couldn't sustain that all year round. Some of these guys are getting down to 3 or 5% body fat. You just can't do that all year to yourself. Your body will go catabolic and start eating its own muscle mass. So they have to go through cycles where they are heavier, where they do have more fat on the body. They cannot look like that all year round. Likewise with running a marathon. You can't run a marathon every day. It's bad for your heart. It will cause scarring in your heart tissue. So competitions are a form of challenge that it's really easy to see, like, yeah, you can't do that every day. You train for it. You do a program to be able to do it. But then when you do it and it's done, then you take time off, take time away from that challenge. And when you are training for a challenge like that, that is a competition style challenge, generally you're not going to be training for anything else. In other words, you cannot split your focus. Now, some of the challenges that go through the internet that more casual exercisers might get their hands on, like the 50 squat a day challenge, or the push-ups every day challenge, something like this. Again, even though it is less intense and more spread out over a month, you can get repetitive use injuries, especially from these high rep challenges of just one exercise every single day with no rest days. Is it possible to do these in a healthy way once in a while? Yeah, absolutely. Is it a good idea to challenge yourself once in a while, prove to yourself that you can do it? Absolutely. It can actually help us establish and carve out the time for better programs later on. But you shouldn't go challenge hopping like, oh, well, last month I did the push-up challenge, now I'm going to do the sit-up challenge, next month I'm going to do the 20-pound weight loss challenge. That's not really how we want to use those. So we want to make sure that we're using challenges for one of these things. They're short-term, they're going to be for the glory or the sport of doing it. You're going to do it with the intention of kickstarting a habit, forcing you to carve out time for you to have, exercise time or meal prep time, whatever it is, and to prove to yourself that you can in fact do it. But this is not sustainable. So a program, on the other hand, is designed to be long-term. It's going to have specific outcomes in mind. So, for example, With a challenge, you would think, oh, well, a squat challenge is going to make me better at squats. Yeah, to a degree, but it's not going to be as good as something that's designed more specifically for long term with progressive overload versus just doing the same number of reps every day for 30 days. So your program should be designed for a specific outcome. So specific outcomes can be, I want to be stronger, I want to be leaner, I want to be faster, I want to have better cardio, I want to have better bone density. All of these are different types of outcomes that we might want to see from a program, and whether or not you get those outcomes, this is where having a personal trainer really comes in handy. So I recommend, if you are not already a member of the Nerd Gym, go ahead and join www.thenerdgym.com. That is my recommendation for training for a specific outcome. We will help you with that in a way that fits your lifestyle. But in general, you want to work with somebody whose job it is to come up with this stuff for you. If you are not a fitness professional, like you are no more going to, if you're like, I can't do coding, like computer programming. I would not attempt to program something myself unless I wanted to dedicate a huge portion of my time to that. I would hire somebody else to do that for me, or get something that's drag and drop or a pre-made program, right? So likewise, when it comes to exercise, you're either going to get somebody who actually knows what they're doing, or you're going to purchase a pre-made program that you can plug and play that does achieve your goals, what you want it to do. So the program has to be long-term. It has to be for a specific outcome. It must become or be a habit. You must enjoy the process. So these two are kind of connected. A program is not something that you're going to love it and leave it. You're not going to just do it for a month or 6 weeks. Programs in general are going to be at least 18 weeks long. We do not want to make them super short term. We want to make sure that they're long enough that we can actually see the outcome. Remember, when it comes to diet and exercise, you have to give the body time to actually create those adaptations, to actually build the muscle, to build the bone density, to lose the fat. All of these things take time. So while you can use a challenge to kind of jumpstart your progress and do some intense work, some focused work in that area to start a program, you wouldn't want to stay in that space. You want to make it something sustainable, something that you're going to enjoy the process with. A really good example with this is diet programs. So I do for folks a 20-pound in 1 month fat loss challenge. Can we do that? Hell yeah, we absolutely can. And we're talking fat loss, not just water weight. But there's a couple things that are going to happen. Once you lose that initial 20 pounds, number one, you're going to slow down to a rate of about 2 pounds, 1 to 2 pounds per week fat loss. Just your body's natural processes. When you start off a new nutrition program, we can usually get a little extra boost of progress, but then it's going to taper off to about a 1 to 2 pounds a week. The other thing is, the nutrition plan that I give is very strict. It doesn't allow for cheat days. It doesn't allow for cheat meals or treats or snacks that we might be used to. So in order to incorporate those things back in such a way that we can be on a sustainable long-term plan, we do have to look at moving away from a challenge and into a long-term eating program. So diet programs, exercise programs, they should all be long-term sustainable. Just like with a daily push-up challenge, you are going to end up with overuse injuries even if you enjoy doing those push-ups every day. So you want to make sure that you are incorporating things that make it sustainable for the long term. All right. So enjoying the process, super important. If you don't enjoy it, you're just not gonna stick with it, are you? And yeah, just making it sustainable, making it so that it can be long term. So these are the big differences between a program versus a challenge. And I recommend doing both. I think everybody should do both. Challenges are fun. They're designed to be fun. And, at the Nerd Gym, we do both. We do different kinds of challenges, not just exercise and diet challenge. Like for right now, we're doing our social media detox challenge is underway. And this is asking people to stay off of their social media networks, their Facebook, their Instagram, their Twitter. Is this sustainable in the modern society? Not for most people. Yes, there are certain people who can stay off these platforms for forever, but many of us need them for work. Many of us need them to connect to family, especially during COVID when we can't see people in person. So while taking a break from these things, ratcheting back and taking a social media detox challenge can be a super good idea if we've been overusing and we want to pull back from that. We are going to eventually have to get back to a sustainable normal with that. Likewise, the fat loss challenge that starts in November, 20 pounds in 1 month. Can we do it? Yes, we've done it thousands of times. We have a very well proven out program that we've used with a multitude of different people with different types of challenges, and we see very, very consistent results. In that first 4 to 6 weeks, we have a very accelerated rate of fat loss. After that, we look at how can we incorporate back in those special meals, those birthday meals, those holiday meals, because after all, we've got the holiday season coming up. We are going to want to indulge once in a while. How do we have a glass of beer once in a while without gaining all the weight back on? These are important questions to answer, but during the first month, when we're doing this initial fat loss challenge, we're dropping a big chunk of weight. 20 pounds is huge. You're going to feel much lighter during that time. You're going to feel much better during that time. And it's going to give you the motivation to say, hey, I do want to continue working at this, chipping away at this, but maybe not quite as intense of having to eat, 6 ounces of vegetables at every single meal and so many ounces of protein at every single meal and having very regimented times. Not everybody can stick to the meal timing, to the amount of food, the volume of fruits and vegetables that are incorporated into the program, that kind of thing. And we do have to look at making it sustainable long term. But yes, I love me a good challenge. I love a good competition. I think that it's healthy to do both. I think that you should cycle through different types of challenges and competition. I wouldn't do back-to-back exercise challenges, for example. This is why we try to alternate at the Nerd Gym between nutrition challenge, lifestyle challenge, exercise challenge. And when we do an exercise challenge, we try to make it so that it doesn't create those overuse injuries. Beware of challenges that go through around the internet where it's the same exercise every day. You can very easily create an overuse injury under those circumstances. So just be aware of that. If you haven't been doing push-ups, doing a 30-day push-up challenge is not the way to get started. You want to build up your strength first and then challenge yourself once you've built up the strength. Maybe your program should help you develop the strength necessary to do that push-up challenge, for example. So just make sure that you are you're choosing your challenges in such a way that, like, yes, this is either something that is going to kickstart my program, or my program is going to lead up to this and I'm doing the challenge in the form of like a competition, or to prove to myself, like, what can I actually do? What can I accomplish at the end of it, right? When I was doing competitive powerlifting, that was the same thing. I would do a powerlifting program leading up to the powerlifting competition, and then when I got to the competition, then I would prove to myself what I was able to do, and that helped keep me motivated on days when I just didn't really feel like it. That's the other cool thing about challenges, is if you are in a program and you can't rely solely on motivation from challenges, but if you're in a program that, like, you're gonna have little days where you're like, I don't really feel like it, but if you know you have a challenge coming up, if you know you've got a competition coming up, it can give you that little kick in the pants that you might need from time to time. So for example, for people who want to lose body fat for vanity reasons, I will say do like a photo shoot at the end of it. If you're not involved in a competition, do a set a date with a photographer, or do enroll in some type of competition. If you are losing body fat for health reasons, make an appointment with your doctor and see if you can improve your blood work from one appointment to the next. So that can be super awesome. If you're doing strength training for vanity reasons, think about entering a bodybuilding competition once the whole COVID thing is over with. And for some competitions, you can do them virtually, like virtual races. If you want to improve your cardio and start improving your running and your running time over time, you can enroll in a virtual race, virtual 5K, and do that anytime, anywhere. So there's lots of good reasons to do all these things. Again, if you would like any help with any of that, I would be psyched to help you. www.thenerdgym.com. You can join at any membership level between now and November 1st to get full access to our classes. After November 1st, that special is done and we're back to our regular pricing. Okay, I'll see you next time. Until then, stay challenged, stay on program, and hell, have fun with it. If you enjoy this content, if you enjoy watching the YouTubes, then go ahead and click the like, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know what you want me to answer on tomorrow's YouTube live, and we will do